I don't want to. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. I'm not. I'm not doing the. I don't want to go. Sticking to my classic stuff.
I don't want to go.
How's it going, everybody? It is J-Man here, and today, if you haven't read the title of the video, I'm reviewing David Tennant's final episode as the 10th Doctor, chronologically, The End of Time. The End of Time is David Tennant's final episode. It's also the final episode that has been written by Russell... It's also the final episode written by Russell T. Davies. He is also the showrunner of series 1 through 4 of the current modern era of Doctor Who. This is a very big deal because this is the first time that a generation of this version of Doctor Who would be able to have a transition into a whole other style of show while keeping it the same at heart, but changing it up. And that's also what we're going through right now with Jodie Whittaker, with her season just wrapped up almost a year ago. You know, a lot of people didn't like it because it was so different, and I get that. Anyways, enough on the history and stuff. I want to go ahead and just start talking about this episode because seeing it on the big screen, that's actually how I saw it. I saw it last week on the big screen at the Fathom event, August 7th. I was really excited for this because the only Doctor Who episodes that have been showing on the big screen for me lately was Twice Upon a Time. I didn't go see it because I was still new into the fan. Anyways, as I was saying before I got interrupted, the first episode that was airing when I was a Whovian was Twice Upon a Time, and I didn't go see it because I didn't have the appreciation and love that I did for Peter Capaldi's Doctor yet. And I really regret that because that's an amazing episode. The more and more I watch it, the more I find things to love about it, that I had to stop watching it because I was just like, I want to savor this experience. And I think the big screen really would have helped. And that's my fault. Then they did Jodie Whittaker's first episode, but they were doing it the day after it came out. And not only that, it wasn't even showing in my area, so if you've seen my video on that first episode, you know that I didn't really care too much to go see it. So when they announced that they was doing The End of Time, I was excited because I really enjoy a lot of elements of this story. I think that David Tennant's performance that he gives in this is amazing. I think Bernard Cribbins, I hope I'm saying that correct because I think I heard it somewhere differently. I think that his character as Wilfred is just fantastic, and the amounts that he gets used throughout Russell T. Davies' run is just fantastic, and I think that pays off, especially in this sort of finality to these characters. So let's just go ahead and get into it. After the Master's resurrection goes wrong, and the bad guys are two people who want to like create this immortality thing, and there's these weird cactuses people and stuff, we have the End of Time. Also, the Gallifreyans, the Time Lords. Okay, I'm sorry. The Time Lords are coming back, sort of, in a way. Timothy Dalton's there. And we have a finale for a regeneration story. And I didn't realize until I saw this on the big screen how this kind of just drags in the middle for a little bit. Like, especially this first part. Like, this first part, I forgot how much it drags. I think there's like a lot of enjoyment throughout this entirety of these two parts, because if you saw it in theaters, they edited them together, so it just said The End of Time, didn't say part 1 or 2, and I honestly forgot when part 2 was starting because we didn't even have opening logos whenever they transitioned, so they re-edited those out for the theatrical version, so I was fine with that. And I think here's what works. The sense of finality that is with David Tennant's Doctor, I think that is pretty good. I think the conversations that he has, for the most part, with the Master are done really well. Of him just trying to convince him, like, hey man, we're still around, you know, we still have a chance to, like, you know, to, like, you could travel with me, you know, you could be so good if you want it to be, and he's just not having any of it because of what was happened when he was a kid. You know, he's messed up in the head, and all because of the Time Lords. And on top of that, you've got this boring ass plot where this politician is trying to like create immortality for his daughter. That just, it seems like they was like, let's write this into the story, and it took up way more time than it needed to. And that's where most of my cons come from, because this is just boring. So boring. And I don't blame the actors or anything. I think they're doing fine for the part that they're given. It's just like Russell T Davies just like didn't know what to do with this part. He was so focused on giving everybody a sense of finality and a satisfying conclusion to his characters that he was just like, well, yada yada yada. And on top of that, I don't think that the Time Lord stuff in this episode works well. Now, I haven't seen too much of the classic series. I've actually started watching some of it. I have a BritBox subscription. I'm not watching it in chronological order, even though I should. I'm just like picking and choosing what stories sound kind of cool. That's a terrible way to do it. But I'm having some fun along the way. I've seen a couple of Tom Baker episodes, a little bit of Peter Davison, even a little bit of William Hartnell. And from what I can tell of the Time Lords, their representation in the modern era, from what it was like when they was in the original, is way more mainstream. But stories like this that almost had me go, I don't know if I care about the Time Lords because of how grand they feel. You know, it's like you get like a character like the Doctor who's so pun not intended. He's so down to earth, literally, you know, within his writing, that you meet these Time Lords and you're just like, is this all your race is? You know, people who you can't relate to too much. You know, I mean, you got other Time Lords that have been on the show, like Romana. That's the only one I can name so far, because that's the only one that I know of so far. But the Master, of course. But those serve different purposes throughout, you know, the show's run. So, of course, they're not going to be the same as the Doctor. I feel like I'm droning on too long. I always do this in my reviews, so I want to go ahead and talk about another one of my favorite things about this. There's two scenes within this entire special that I just love so much. The first one I love more than the second one, but I still love the second one, is the restaurant scene between the 10th Doctor and Wilfred. Just, the 10th Doctor is just like letting all of his emotions out on how he let so many bad things happen recently. When he was traveling on his lawn, he thought it'd be easier because nobody could get hurt, but then he got a little too cocky, as in like the Water of Mars, and he, while saving somebody, also made somebody drive themselves to suicide. It was unintentional, but, you know, it got dark for him, and, you know, that was one hell of a cliffhanger, you know, to just jump off of to go into your finale, and, you know, and even though it wasn't canon at the time, you know, I kind of like to, I like to put in the Day of the Doctor in there. I don't want to talk too much about it because I have a video on the Day of the Doctor. But, you know, you can also sort of put that in there. He doesn't remember it as well because they say that in the Day of the Doctor because it's time stream and it's wibbly-wobbly time and stuff. But I feel like he gets a sense, his character at least gets a sense of something even more just happened. And that's why he's still feeling a little bit more down than he should. So yeah, for the most part, this episode's really good, but it drags on with those, you know, the politician stuff. And, some of the Master stuff, whenever he's turned into everybody, goes on just for a little bit too long than it needs to. I love the scene where Wilfred and the Doctor are talking on the spaceship, hiding from the Master, and, you know, he's got that conversation like, you gonna kill him? Because he's gonna kill you most certainly. Like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I'm not. It's not me. This is one of my last friends. You know, I'm not gonna do that. And, you know, and you have that great scene where, you know, he's like, I'd be proud to be your dad. And he's like, well, I'm older than you. And you're like, shut up. He's like, no, I'm 906. And, you know, it's just stuff like that, you know, heart-to-heart moments that are just really great. And I think that what follows after that is done decently until we get to the radiation scene where the 10th Doctor sacrifices the rest of his regeneration just so that Wilfred can live. I will say it does feel a little weird. Now, I don't know what it is. It almost feels like the 10th Doctor comes across as whiny in that scene, and I always loved his. I still love his performance, but with all the context put together, it kind of like, I don't know. It feels a little out of character. I think David Tennant's doing amazing in that scene, but something is weird during his "it's not fair" chant. You know, I love how they make you think that they're going to regenerate him by hiding his face, and he's the same, but he's getting better, but he's slowly regenerating. So he has a little farewell tour where he gets to say goodbye to anybody who is important. I feel like such a dumbass because I've been a Whovian now for 2 years. I've seen the David Tennant era 3 months after I became a Whovian, and I only just until I saw this on the big screen noticed who he was going to see at the Variety Newman book signing. I feel so stupid, like a huge dumbass, because I don't know why, but I was thinking it was the girl from the fireplace, her ancestor. That's not it at all. It's the woman from the Family of Blood, and I'll put the title here because it's a long two-part. It's a great-ass episode, and I watched all these because I was going to review all series leading up, and life happened, and here we are. But that like kind of hit me more in the feels because it was just like, oh man, I know what's going on now, and that hurts a little, you know. I think my favorite goodbye is kind of hard, really. It might be that, but I also really enjoy his goodbye to Sarah Jane. He doesn't say much. There's apparently I rewatched the Doctor Who Confidential on Amazon Prime for part 2. And there was apparently a running joke with the fact that the kids never look across the street whenever they're crossing it in the Sarah Jane Avengers. So as Clyde almost gets hit by a car, the Doctor runs in and saves him. And he gives Sarah Jane like a goodbye stare. You know, but it's I don't know. I like the way that it's done. I like that. I can't explain it. If you've seen the episode, then you get what I'm talking about. I don't imagine if you're watching this video and you've never seen an episode of Doctor Who. Why? First of all, how did you find my channel? Second of all, you're missing out on a really good damn show. And I think that his goodbye to Rose is really good, even though it's the third goodbye to Rose. I think that it's probably the best. And then we get that amazing regeneration scene, which I just think is fantastic. I think Murray Gold's score during this scene is it's just so exhilarating. Just the music that he decides to put here with the vocals and David Tennant's performance. And if you've seen the behind the scenes, like the Confidential, then you know that when he's saying "I don't want to go," they did multiple takes where they was like, "Well, what makes the most sense?" You know, like the more "I don't want to go" like that, or doing it in an emotional state where the Doctor's like about to break down crying. And I just think that that's pretty cool how they ended up choosing a take for that scene, and I think that it fits it perfectly. And then we lead into the 11th Doctor, of course, my favorite Doctor to this day. His scene where he comes in, and this is just, I don't know. Overall, I really enjoy this special, but it has like a bunch of flaws looking back, and especially getting to see it on the big screen. I'm not gonna stop seeing these on the big screen, by the way. I loved hearing Murray Gold's score throughout Dolby Digital surround sound. I mean, that's the theater I went to, so I imagine it was through that. If not, it still sounded great. But, yeah. I'm going to give The End of Time a B. I know I praised it a lot, but a lot of its negatives carry on throughout. A B is still a really good score. It's not like I'm saying that I don't like this episode. I really enjoy this episode. I like his farewell to her. I like the emotional scenes that he gets with Wilfred. Jesus Christ. Wilfred Mott is I was going to say a national treasure, but this show takes place in the UK and not the US. So he is, well, I could have meant that. Yeah. I feel like a dumbass just by, I'm leaving this part of the video. I don't care. Anyways, one of the best Who companions who isn't a Who companion. He's used just good enough. Anyways, don't know what my next video will be. I'm gonna stop promising shit because I hate promising future videos and not doing them. So if you like this video, leave a like, and whatever I decide to do next, I'll do next. It might be something Borderlands related. I'm not gonna promise anything because I promised to review all 4 series of... There's a hair on that. Okay, alright. Yeah, all 4 series of the Russell T Davies era leading up to this. And I just didn't do it because life got in the way. Honestly, don't even know when this video is going to come out. I'm recording this 2 days after, so... Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm on social media. I always say this. I'll leave a link in the description down below where all the tags where you can find me on social media. And I'll see you guys in the next one, hopefully. Hey man, oh. Now's as good a time as any. Alonzi.